People did not stay long in our companies. It was so hard to find people who take ownership of the accounts they handle. It made sense because if I'm not the owner, why would I go the extra mile when my paycheck's gonna be the same at the end of the day? I was doing an obstacle race, broke my foot in half, so this meant I had a lot of time to think. I realized if I was not the owner, I would not want to work in my company. So the first thing we did, we completely decentralized our organization, eliminated all management. Nobody in our team is actually managing people. The closest thing we have is mentors. They would now have a base salary and a large share of revenue. Nowadays, our top performers, they make over half of their income just on revenue share. I'm LUCHO. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you a quick story today. So I started my company 10 years ago with my childhood buddy. That's us when we were 10. I'm the shirtless guy, always a bit of a Tarzan. And we had this passionate love for freedom that always was the glue to our friendship, you know? We were obsessed with capitalism, Ayn Rand. We were absolutely convinced that business is a force for good in the world. And we also shared deep, hatred for the idea of going to work at a 9-to-5 job in a boring office where we had to follow orders. We were not very happy about that. See, our idea of freedom was more along the lines of being free to live the life you want to live. Like, do the things you want to do, like go your own way, you know? And so that's how we started our digital defiance, which is Digifiance. And we started selling ourselves as this revolutionary digital marketing company, when in reality, it was just the two of us working out of my buddy's studio apartment. I was living in an inflatable couch that was always deflated in the morning. That's how I woke up. We're working crazy hours and just never saw the light of day. But eventually, you know, things picked up. We started getting some good clients. Revenue started coming in. The team started to grow. We moved to an office, and everything was going super great. We started working with HubSpot, as Alexander mentioned. And man, HubSpot just kicked off, catapulted us. And over the years, we grew and grew and grew. And we got it up to about 50 people. And I was ecstatic. We had really good revenue. We're making profits. I was living that life that I always wanted to live. I had the life of freedom. I was traveling around. I'm obsessed with obstacle courses. So I went all over the world doing obstacle courses. And it was a blast. But we did have some problems as we grew. So we were having massive turnover. Like, people did not stay long in our companies. We had really great talent, but they didn't stay long enough to actually make a difference, you know? I always hated bureaucracy. I always hated being managed and managing. I did not want to do this for my team. I did not want to manage people. I hated this stuff, and I was doing a lot of it. And we always wanted people in our team who acted like business owners. And it was so hard to find people who would take ownership of the accounts they handled, who would do things beyond their responsibilities, you know, who would go the extra mile. And the thing is, it made sense because an employee is not an owner. Like, why, if I'm not the owner, why would I act like an owner? Why would I go the extra mile when my paycheck's going to be the same at the end of the day? What's in it for me? So at some point, I was doing an obstacle race, and I broke my foot massively, broke my foot in half. I was grounded for 5 months, basically. That's a little prosthetic leg I used for 5 months. I had to get 2 surgeries, and I'm very hyperactive. So this meant I had a lot of time to think. And I started criticizing the way we were running our company. I realized if I was not the owner, I would not want to work in my company. Like, I hated it. And that's not the company that I wanted to have. I wanted to have a company where I would want to be somebody who worked there if I wasn't the owner. So I was very inspired by John Mackey's book, Conscious Capitalism. There's also 2 other great books that were a big inspiration, Humanocracy and Corporate Rebels. And they all talk about interesting ideas on like how some companies are doing really innovative things and just, you know, going a different way. So we kind of did our own thing, and we created the BOOM methodology. So that business owners ownership mindset. It's kind of weird, owners. I know, I get that a lot, but I just really like the way boom sounds instead of bomb. So, what's the business ownership mindset? So the first thing we did is we started restructuring our organization. So we were very centralized. We were very hierarchically structured. and we completely decentralized our organization. We became flat, so eliminated all management basically. And managers were now people that had to execute, had to do things. It wasn't just nobody in our team is actually like managing people. The closest thing we have is mentors. Who mentors are actually in charge of doing things as well, but they get to mentor other people. And we outsourced everything that wasn't a core area of our business. We'd been doing this for a while. We'd always had our accounting, legal stuff outsourced, but we had a huge HR department, and we outsourced that, outsourced collections and other admin stuff. And then we started outsourcing other areas that were kind of they were a part of the services that we delivered, but they weren't the core of our business. And we just stuck to the core, which was the HubSpot consulting and development, basically. And then we restructured our employee model. So I'm based in Argentina. I'm very nomadic, but I spent about 4 months a year there. Our company was based in Argentina, and everybody in our company was in an Argentinian payroll, which is very traditional, very structured, but it provided people with a sense of stability because they know what to expect. In Argentina, there's a lot of job security because you cannot get fired. It is impossible to fire someone. There's massive industry on lawsuits when you fire someone, and yeah, so they got job security, and we made retirement contributions, which is kind of a scam because they never see any of that money back when they retire. So that's a government scam, and they also get health insurance and other benefits. Like we also had to pay loads of taxes, loads of union fees, which basically translated into the cost for us to have an employee was 2 or 3 times what we were actually paying them. So we're like, okay, yeah, let's change things around. So we told everybody, you have an option. You can stay in the current system, or you can switch to a U.S. contractor model, and all those benefits, they're going to be gone. But there's the catch. See, if you're in the Argentinian system, you make Argentinian pesos. And I don't know if you guys have kept up with what's going on in Argentina, but the peso is one of the most inflationary currencies in the world. Nobody wants pesos. Like as soon as you have pesos in Argentina, you change them to dollars. So it's absolutely terrible. And also in Argentina, you can't make races. If you give someone like a bonus, then that's their new paycheck. Like you can't bring them down. So of course you really need to think about giving someone a little bit of extra money. So in the contractor model, we're going to pay them in dollars, 2 to 3 times what we were paying them, and they would now have a base salary and a large share of revenue of the accounts that they were handling. So nowadays, our top performers, they make over half of their income just on revenue share, which is really cool. And this led to a massive culture shift. It allowed us to do a massive culture shift where we had new benefits like flexible hours, which meant people can work whenever they want. We became a remote-first company, so people can work from wherever they want. And we have unlimited vacations, so people can work if they want. And this is kind of crazy, right? But it also comes with a lot of responsibilities. Now, everybody needs to really take ownership of everything they do. They are responsible for making sure that their accounts are happy, that they're reaching their goals, that they're succeeding, and that they're delivering the extra value to all of our clients. Because at the end of the day, if they lose a client, they lose that revenue share as well. So they are invested in everything they do. And we measure this every month. Like we have a look at every account. Every client gets surveyed. We make sure that they're happy and that things are actually happening for them. And we accompanied this with a course that was actually led by Alexander. It was really cool, where we talked about 10 principles of the business owner's ownership mindset. And so the principles are, we split them into like 3 main groups. There's the core philosophy, the strategic framework, and collaborative synergy. The principles, the first one that I love, is understanding free market economics, because this is crucial. I mean, if you want to succeed in the business world, you really need to understand the context in which you're working, right? Like what is the base of how the system in which we live and interact works? Like understanding the subjective value of theory, that value from a product or service does not come from the labor that you put into. And it might seem pretty obvious to all of us, but this is actually something that in our team was, man, no, the value comes from the hours that I put into it. Value does not come from the hours you put in. It doesn't come from like what it is that you're doing, but how much value you're delivering to the person that you're actually delivering that value to. And now the transition, it was absolutely crazy. We lost a lot of team members. So we were losing one person every other week. Everybody thought we were insane because we were doing just like a massive turnover. And honestly, we didn't know it was going to work. We had a deadline. We're like, okay, we're going to give this 6 months. And if it doesn't work, yeah, we're calling it quits. And then at 6 months, it's like, oh yeah, it still hasn't worked. Should we push through? But in the end, it was a happy story. So our team is now wonderful. Everybody's in love with the system. They're taking full advantage of it, working from wherever they want. They are absolutely loving this. Our revenue has surprisingly really picked up. So we have more revenue, we have more profits, both in absolute terms and as a share of the revenue. And we have happy clients, which is absolutely crucial. So if you know any interested companies that are going through similar struggles, we are looking to do this with other companies. We're also hosting a Boom podcast, so a business owners ownership mindset podcast. So if any of these principles resonate with you and you have something you want to share, I'd love to have a conversation. All right. Well, thank you.